What's going on, Nerd Squad, and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. Marvel superheroes, okay? They're usually flying through the air, catching planes from out of the sky, or they're swinging under a bridge to stop a robber. Whatever the case is, usually they're pretty cool looking. They're pretty awesome, and their powers range from epic to weird, and same with their appearance and backstory. So here to break down 10 more of those weird superheroes that actually exist, I'm Taylor McWatters, and here are the top 10 weirdest Marvel heroes that exist, part 2. Alright, we've got to start the list off with Father Time, and yes, I said Father Time. No better gentleman to start off with. So he made his first appearance in Blonde Phantom Comics issue 22. He was referred to as the Dispatcher of Destiny, cool nickname, and he even went hand to hand with Captain America at some point as well. And at one point, he even scrapped Captain America. I would love to see Father Time fight Captain America also. I'd pay like $60 easy to watch that movie. He was the protector of time, so his job was to commemorate significant events. And his way of doing that was by making a nice little collection of legendary people and then grabbing them and putting them into another dimension for their safety. What a weird way to do things. Yeah, he tried to kidnap Captain America in order for him to be a legend. Like, you're doing great. He did similar things for other legendary Americans too, like John Henry and Uncle Sam. And of course, Father Time is immortal. And before we go on to some other wacky characters you may not have known about, if you guys could go ahead and give us a thumbs up on our channel because it really helps us out quite a bit. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for watching and supporting. Now back to this weird list. Number 9, Howard the Duck. He was there in the final battle against Thanos in Avengers Endgame in a blink and you'll miss it cameo. But who is this guy? Like, for real. He's on Earth now, we gotta ask some questions. Is he in the MCU? Is he gonna stay? What's going on? He was actually the first ever live-action Marvel hero when his first solo adventure came out back in 1986 with Michael J. Fox. He made his first named appearance in Man-Thing issue 1. He was hatched on Duckworld, obviously, and it resembles Earth quite a bit, except for the whole, ducks who speak English part. That's the minor difference. He lived in New Stork, again, obviously, and he was the son of Ronald and Henrietta. And as a kid, he knew he was smart, but these bullies kept getting involved and they kept pushing him down. Damn bullies. Then Throgg, the Nether Spawn, used his magic and caused the interdimensional cosmic axis to shift. And then he was sent to our world in the middle of Florida, of all places. I feel like if that Florida headline came out, people wouldn't be too shocked. They're like, Howard the Duck? What month is it? We wouldn't be shocked at this point, that's all I'm saying. 2021, bring on Howard. Number 8, 3D Man. Okay, for this next one, make sure to put on our 3D glasses. It's gonna get trippy and also pretty weird. Meet Charles Chandler. He made his grand entrance in the world of Marvel Comics back in 1977 in Marvel Premiere issue 35. Honestly, this guy could drop a live action movie tomorrow and I still wouldn't see it in 3D. No chance. Even if James Cameron did it and had like every great actor, I'd be like, no, it hurts my eyes. It hurts my eyes, I'm sorry. You hurt my eyes, 3D man. I don't like you. So he's an American test pilot who got his powers from radiation after an explosion while escaping Skrulls. His image was imprinted onto his brother's glasses because of the explosion. So now when his brother Hal focuses, Charles can come back as this 3D man. Honestly, I hope we see this movie soon. I feel like John Hamm would kill it, like unironically. He would show up and do it. Everyone would give him shit online, and then it would make like $7 billion. Number 7, Squirrel Girl. Doreen Aline Green, awesome name. She made her first appearance in Marvel Superheroes Volume 2, Issue 8, and she began a hero after suffering a modification in her genes that granted her squirrel-like abilities. So she thought she was a mutant for sure. Like, she thought that was the case for a while, because, the whole tail and all. But then when she turned 10, she realized she can talk to squirrels. I mean, sure, that's kind of weird, and maybe it's enough weird to get her on this list, but she's pretty awesome. Like, on her first adventure, she saved Tony Stark. She's great. And it was actually speculated too that her and Wolverine were a thing at one point. Because in Wolverine issue 8, Emma Frost had entered Wolverine's mind and literally found a room called Sexual Fantasies. Emma says, I know I'm gonna regret this, and maybe she was right, because when she opens the door, she sees a Squirrel Girl standing there in this Sexual Fantasies room. So there's clearly some history there, or there's about to be some history there. Number 6, Throgg. The Frog of Thunder, ladies and gentlemen, of course they're in this list. Simon Walterson made his comic book debut back in Lockjaw and the Pet Avengers issue 1. And this version is quite noteworthy, okay? So he started off the usual way a Frog of Thunder starts, you know, a college football star at Mississippi State University. After being drafted, a knee injury left him unable to play anymore, and as if things couldn't get worse, he lost his wife, and after battling depression, decided to take his pain to a witch to connect to the afterlife. Super relatable, we've all been there. So he was able to communicate with his wife, and then he wasn't able to pay this witch after he was done. Dine and dash on a witch. Buddy, good game. So now this very upset witch, who has to pay her phone bills and doesn't have any moolah to do so, decides to get a little payback and turns Simon into a frog. Yep, he was soon given the name Puddle Gulp after meeting the other frogs of New York. The other frogs of New York is what I said, yep, absolutely. And then he comes across a small piece of Mjolnir, and then there you have it. The Frog of Thunder has risen. And if you haven't seen any of Throgg, you gotta check it out, because it's quite riveting. Riveting. Number 5, Spider-Ham. This next one is quite weird, but now it's actually quite popular since John Mulaney voiced this weird alternate Spider-Man on the big screen. So this Earth 8311 version of the web slinger is of course named Peter Porker. And he made his first debut in Marvel Tales, like Tales, starring Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham 1, back in November 1983. So we have Peter Porker, the pig, photographer, crime fighter, all that jazz that we love. Sweet. And the villain in this issue is actually none other than Dr. Doom. And he's actually too cute. You can't help but think he's a cutie. I know Dr. Doom's like a bad guy, but it's Dr. Doom. You look at him, you're like, oh, you can do what you want. Fine, take over the world, rule everything, I don't care. Now, the best feature of Spider-Ham is that he of course has the quips and powers to go along with it, but he also has what's called spider nonsense, which is this ability that allows him to be more cartoon-like the more danger that he's in, which makes for a good time, both on screen and on the page. Number 4, Lockjaw. Making his first appearance in Fantastic Four issue 45, Lockjaw is a giant dog with antenna growing out of his head. So, congratulations, you've made the list already. He's part of the Inhumans. He's actually the loyal pet of the Inhumans. So he was born from an experiment. He's actually one of 5 in a litter that was meant to have powers. Only he was the only one with powers. The other 4 were born just normal. So he teleported the other 4 pups to safety at different locations, and then he reappeared to make it look like he was the only one born. The Avengers have a helicarrier, and the Inhumans have a giant teleportation dog. Number 3, Gibb. Making his first appearance in Runaways Volume 5, Issue 13, Gibb was the last of the Gibbrim left on Earth, and he's of course a member of the Runaways. The seed of the Gibbrim discovered the Runaways and were going to demand that they honor their parents' promise. The seed of the Gibbrim discovered the Runaways and were going to demand that they honor their parents' promise, which was to inherit the Earth, empowered by the billions of sacrificed souls. Okay. Thankfully, the Runaways prevented that from happening, and they trapped the Gibbrim in limbo. So Gibb was tasked to stay with the Runaways and guard them for about a week or so. So during this time with the Runaways, Gibb started to like the new company. He saw their kindness and compassion, and then when Rim and Bo returned, Gibb tried to convince them to forego the Right of Thunder. See, Gibb's got our backs. All the while, Gert was preparing to send them 999 years into the future. So the Runaways welcomed Gibb with open arms, and they even helped him find an alternate meal plan, rather than feasting on sacrificed souls and all. Have you heard of Subway? I don't know, just a suggestion. His appearance is pretty weird and fun, and his powers include enhanced strength and shapeshifting. Yeah, Gibb matches the appearance of the people surrounding him, and apparently his true form would cause your eyes to bleed. So if you're gonna play Marco Polo with Gibb, don't peek, because your eyes will not hurt from the chlorine, but they'll also be disintegrated, apparently. So if you're playing Marco Polo with Gibb, don't peek, or the chlorine won't be the only thing hurting your eyes after. Number 2, Beta Ray Bill. This dude is coming to the MCU. We think. It's been teased numerous times now, but who exactly is Beta Ray Bill? The Marvel Comics universe is home to the Corbinites, and amongst them is the powerful Beta Ray Bill. Making his first appearance back in 1983 in Thor issue 337, this version of Thor is recognized widely by his hammer, in that it's actually Stormbreaker, which we finally see in Infinity War for the first time. So Beta Ray Bill was actually the first character to lift Mjolnir besides Thor or Odin. He's a pretty big deal. Odin actually made Thor and Beta Ray Bill fight, and after Beta Ray Bill won, he refused to kill Thor, questioning Odin and the rules of the hammer in the meantime. Okay, cool. He's a cool guy. He breaks his system. Okay. He then asked if he can use his hammer later on in life, after he's gained wisdom and all that nice stuff. So Odin decides, you know what, I'm just gonna give you your own hammer, and then he gave him Stormbreaker. Bones of a Corbinite were teased in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then his face, we think, was seen in Thor Ragnarok, so hopefully we're finally getting this guy in action in the MCU soon. And finally, number 1, the weirdest of them all, Hindsight Lad. Carlton Lefroy made his comic book debut in New Warriors Annual Issue 3 back in 1993. He's a computer genius, expert strategist, amateur machinesmith, accomplished researcher, trivia enthusiast, a gifted gamer, all with no powers at all. And under weaknesses, it just says Carlton requires corrective lenses. Like, okay, great. Superman's weakness, kryptonite. Hindsight Lad? Oof, well, with the wrong prescription, he gets headaches. So here's how he became a superhero in the Marvel Universe. Carlton figured out that his neighbor, Robbie, was secretly the superhero Speedball. So this dude threatened to tell everybody unless he was allowed to join the New Warriors. Yeah, just like that. So meet Hindsight Lad. I wish this guy was in the MCU. I mean, I would love to see him and his helmet just get rocked by Thanos. He's like, excuse me, sir, you can't take the stones, because technically if you do, then bye, see ya. He looks like a guy who's always worried about feeding the meter. He's like, I gotta go, what time is it? Well guys, there you have it. Those are some of the weirder characters Marvel has to offer. So drop a comment down below who else you think should be on this list. I'm Taylor McWatters. You're you, keep washing your hands, and we'll see you next time. Peace.